Yo, Salsa, what up? What up? So yes, we did get an email back. They're gonna be looking into my channel. So fingers crossed. I got an email back to ask like what my channel was. So I sent them the email. And that was at 7:30. So fingers crossed that hopefully within the next couple days, we can get our monetization back, which would be very nice. Also, god dang, they changed YouTube Studio. This should look different as hell. Okay, cool. I like it. Um, so we're still not gonna do the music in chat because yeah, for some reason the music is gonna get us. No, I think it's crazy how the music just shuts your stream off. It doesn't like. Uh, it doesn't like mute the stream or something. Like it just completely turns your stream off, which I think is crazy. So we're just gonna do in-game sound. But yeah, hopefully we get the monetization back. That would be really nice. Um, but that I guess is to be decided, right? Alrighty, take care now. Have fun. It's good to see you. Hell yeah. Shout out Salsa. You have fun. Good luck. Get that Fortnite Battle Royale. Or yeah. Yeah. Battle Royale. Forgot what that shit was called. Do I have any skins? I do. I have a Jarvan skin. Let's go. Interesting. I can add stream markers, start, break, create highlight video. What in the hell? Oh, Swayed, Kindred, Callista's, you're in Fiddle. Oh, shit. Holy. Okay, this Diana's cracked. Got it. Oh, DPS threat. Damn, they got a DPS threat too on who? Fiddlesticks, that's not good. Do effective healing and shielding on your allies. That's Kindred, it's fine. What is this DPS threat? Callista. Oh, that's not good. That is not good. Hmm. Mm. I wonder if I throw some like no copyright music on. Nah, I can't do it, bro. The no copyright music is kind of boof. Oh, there we go. We can listen to this.
Balloon beyond any reasonable level. Pharmaceutical companies have no transparency. And instead of going after those issues, Secretary Kennedy's calling me a profit monger. Aren't you mad at that?
Yes, I absolutely am. The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
Agreed.
It's
But
failed.
is it also
has failed.
insanity to say, since this failed, better not do anything and cut it all together?
He's not saying better not do
He
anything.
cut it in half. Hi, I'm Dr. Mike. board-certified family medicine physician, and one of the largest health educators on social media. And today, I'm surrounded by 15
There we go.
RFK Jr. supporters. My first surrounded claim is that RFK Jr. is decimating public health and should step down as Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Hello there,
Hello,
Mike.
hello.
Dr. Mike.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How do you feel about my claim?
I think your claim is absurd
Okay.
because we've got someone that is actually challenging, which is science. I mean, science is about scrutiny, not Orwellian obedience. And if we want to find the truth, we should always have both sides of the story and check out both sides and then find what the truth is.
That's interesting because in some ways I agree with your statement. We should absolutely be skeptical, and science is about proving our
Unfortunate.
initial thoughts wrong. When we do research, for example, we try and look at not just our hypothesis of what we think is going to happen. We actually try to prove the null hypothesis. We actually try to design research that disagrees with us. So I'm curious why you think Secretary Kennedy right now is the correct pick versus what you claim to be the other side.
Let's put it this way. We had to live through the medical tyranny of COVID, and his organization, Children's Health Defense, was on the front line of pushing back against that tyranny. I was part of that. I did protests, and I started a rally in Beverly Hills that was very popular. By the end of the year, we had 4,000 to 6,000 people marching through the streets saying, enough is enough. You know, they first, like Fauci told us, oh, you know, the masks don't work. And then, oh, you need to wear a mask. And then it was 2 masks. So again, the goalpost just kept moving and moving. And we knew it was just baloney. I mean, anybody can smell a rat. And, you know, we just see a lot of the same pattern, like during HIV, for instance. Remember that Bactrim, the NIH and the government were demonizing this with doctors. And then we find out that it actually does help HIV. But they didn't want to hear because they wanted to push AZT, which made a lot of money for Big Pharma. Same thing happened during COVID. And we had 2 doctors here in California that had a 99% success rate, okay? It was Brian Tyson and George Fareed. And they had 7,000 patients that they helped. 99%, which is better than the COVID-19 shot, because once we saw people taking those shots, we saw people dropping like flies.
I feel like we took a lot of topics there and we tried to put them together, so it's going to be difficult for me to reply to you. Let's start with the idea of moving the goalposts.
Okay.
So, you know, in science, we're always learning, right? As a doctor, the things that I recommend today will likely change in 10 years, in 20 years, because as knowledge evolves, we're going to make new recommendations. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say, but this is months, okay? And we know that a virus is 0.3 micron. We see the holes in the mask. You really think that that's going to hold a virus? I mean, we see what virologists wear. It's like a spacesuit.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. I love that you point out the particle size. And you know, there's actually a unique principle with particle movements that the reason why N95 masks actually work quite well for the COVID virus, because even when something is smaller than the size of the mask, the pores within the mask, the way that those particles move actually makes them more readily captured by that mask. Isn't that interesting how sometimes what we perceive to be the logical answer sometimes can be disproven in science? And this goes to show in the same way that we made mistakes in the past.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because they were putting masks on people. So now bacteria is gigantic compared to a virus. We know that, right?
They're large.
And my friend, by the way, was a biology research professor at UCLA.
That's fine,
so
give me my
I've
argument.
learned a lot from him. And, you know, he went to a very established school, Cambridge University, and that's what he dealt with. That's why he said, this is nonsense. So I'm going to listen to the experts, which is Dr. Elliot Hamoff, and look at, you know, people were getting sick and worse when they were wearing masks because they were forcing themselves to breathe the very bacteria that was dangerous.
So when I'm in the hospital and I'm treating patients who have COVID-19, for example, I wear an N95 mask. You think I'm wearing that mask to potentially make myself more sick instead of protecting myself from the patient who has COVID-19?
Well, I believe that you believe that it works, you know? I believe that you believe that because the medical industry, I believe, has been corrupt for a long time.
What makes it corrupt?
Well, there's an interest, you know? People have special interests. You know, it's a revolving door. When you look at a lot of these NIH or NIAID, you know, these people have been funded by Big Pharma, and then they go in the medical industry. So to me, that shows corruption.
So if someone is funded by Big Pharma, does that automatically make them corrupt?
Not necessarily, because there are honest people, but the fact that they censored, even Mark Zuckerberg was asked in the Senate floor if he was being, you know, coerced by the government to shut down free speech when it came to COVID. We had a friend who, her best friend died of COVID shots, 2 of them, and she had these huge boils all over her legs. And they sent her home. They did not report with VAERS that was that. They actually didn't want to even talk about it, which shows me corruption. Then I had a friend, Dr. Simone Gold, that was treating patients with early treatment, and the Master of Business Association comes to her, which doesn't have a medical license, and threatened to fire her, which she did. She got fired. That is called medical tyranny. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Damn.
Okay.
Hello,
Hello, sir. How are you?
Brian.
Pleasure, Brian. Nice to meet you.
I like
so
how this
have
is
a few
one
questions to
doctor
start with,
versus
just so I
20
make sure that we're
RFK
actually
supporters.
debating
Dude,
the
that's
topic that you
hilarious.
would like to debate. To say that he's decimating public health, are there specific measures that you would like to cover, to talk about, that you believe constitutes the decimation?
Yeah, so where do we start? In order to do good public health, in order for me to know what treatments are right for my patients, we need to do research. And currently, the NIH, the CDC budgets for research have been absolutely decimated by billions of dollars. In fact, I wrote down a few of them, if you don't mind me sharing, because I think it's valuable to talk about. So we're not talking in abstract.
Okay.
For research, we've terminated $3.8 billion into cancer, HIV, ALS, and maternal health, important subjects. The entire NIH CDC budgets have been cut in half. We've created an issue where in the Environmental Protection Agency for the Office of Research, we fired over 1,000 scientists who do that research to figure out if there's toxic pollutants that cause negative health outcomes. We've cut the CDC branch for environmental health tracking for lead and water safety. We've canceled NIH
Nice, a lot of assists.
diabetes prevention program that ran for 30 years. And we've eliminated the Federal Newborn Screening Advisory Committee. So that's just a few of them.
Okay. So considering all of that, before, when we had all of that money, where did that get us? Look at the state of America, of Americans' health, and you tell me that the public is actually healthy. What RFK is doing is he is saying enough is enough, something has to change. And I will say this very politely, but I think that you have to be insane to say more is somehow going to get us out of the current public health crisis that we have right now. Americans are fat and they are sick, and it is not getting better. And taking more and more money and continuing to flush it down the toilet is not going to solve the problem. We know what will stop cancer dead in its tracks. We know what will stop all chronic disease dead in its tracks. Do you know what it is?
Lifestyle changes.
Lifestyle changes. The American Heart Association has known about this for years. The most important predictor of longevity, risk of chronic disease, all-cause mortality is VO2 max. So why aren't doctors, why isn't the government creating a public health system that says, you know what, we're gonna focus on VO2 max? Because even if we stopped every dollar we had, putting it into cancer research right now, and we took that money and we said, let's get people moving, let's increase their VO2 max, cancer is stopped dead in its tracks. So the question is, when is enough to admit that the system you are a part of has drastically failed Americans? And RFK Jr., by the very fact of how he looks in his 70s, does more to encourage people to live a healthy lifestyle and truly make America healthy again.
Very passionate. And I mean that with all sincerity, because
I mean, I'm not trying to be an ass. Like,
I don't think you are. I know you might feel like it's coming off aggressive, but I actually think it's passion. And it's passion that I share. I think lifestyle changes are incredibly important. So in order to make these meaningful changes, in order to get people to eat healthier, to exercise more, that takes research dollars in order to figure out what programs work. Like in New York, in my home
Do
state.
you really think it takes research dollars?
Yeah, because
It's really simple. It's sunlight, it's being active, it's having a healthy home environment, it's eating food that comes from regenerative agriculture. It's not rocket science. It is really, really simple, but I think that the pharmaceutical industry tries to complicate it to make people question it so that they run to their doctor. And I'll be very frank with you. I think that you have great intentions. I really do. And I'm really glad
appreciate
that it's you sitting here, because I think part of the reason why these discussions get so heated is because both parties start thinking that the other party has bad intentions.
Sure.
I just think that you are a bit confused about where we should be putting our emphasis and putting our money.
So the difficulty, I know it sounds easy to say, let's get people moving, let's get people eating healthy. So I work at a community health center. It's near impossible to change behaviors as simply as you put it. I've launched a program during my residency program where I, as a physician, exercised with my patients. I brought them in to try and see if spending time with your doctor, exercising, getting them to do it safely was a way to get them motivated. And we saw some successes, but in order to have done that, we need to scale that, we need to trial that to see ultimately how behaviors change. For example, you've seen research where people say, if you give people step counter and they walk 10,000 steps a day, they're healthier. Well, yeah, if you walk more, you move more, you're healthier. But when we actually looked at long-term research of giving people step counters,
So you really
it didn't change
so
behavior.
you literally just contradicted yourself. And unless you're saying we need to take that money that RFK Jr. is cutting from the budget and we need to spend it on the approaches that we know work, then all you're doing is just supporting the system as is.
Did he take half the budget and make it for exercise?
Well, personally, I don't think that's the government's role. And the reason
That's
why
fair.
the reason why I don't think it's the government's role is I'm going to tell you a story. And ultimately, this is what it comes down to, okay? I was in a halfway house in Newark, New Jersey, okay? I could leave the halfway house because I was technically still an inmate, and I could go to my job, all right? If I veered from that path, I could literally go back to prison, okay? But eating healthy was so important to me that I broke the rules, went to Whole Foods, and bought healthy food on an $8 an hour job that the halfway house took 20%, and I still did not make excuses, and I found a way to eat healthy, okay? Doctors, the federal government, it's never going to instill that in people. And I think that it's wrong to really place that responsibility on you. You do not have the tools in your toolbox to effectively change behavior. And whether it's ego, I mean, like, I think you're a good
What
person.
tools
I
are we
think-
missing?
I think it's more societal and it's more
Well, you
cultural.
just said the government shouldn't be a part of it. So when you say societal, how
The
so?
president would have more power right now with the bully pulpit than any form of legislation. And that's what I'm trying to say is that what RFK represents for so many people that support him, he represents a cultural shift that will have more power than any form of legislation. It's just like my political views. I do not believe in democracy. I believe in a consumerocracy. The laws, the politicians, the legislation, they will fail us regardless of which party it is, okay? But right now, we could change the world if we all went out there and we made different consumer decisions. You don't have to have one president change. You don't have to have one law change. This goes viral right here. People start talking about a consumerocracy. The world changes. Laws, politicians, legislations will never have that power. You are trying to fight a problem with force when the solution is power. And we have to shift from that.
Can I ask you something real quick? Just because before we shift topics, I think it's important. A lot of what you're saying, I want to say back to you, and you tell me if I'm seeing your point well, is that individual responsibility here is more important than societal responsibility for keeping people healthy. I respect your viewpoint. Now, this is my viewpoint, and tell me what part of this you disagree with. I think individual responsibility is incredibly important. I try and instill that in all my patients. That exercise is important. I try all different strategies to try and get them individually motivated. But from a societal perspective, let's, for example, say we make a city more walkable. We make lighting more available, especially at night. We create more sidewalks, we make more parks, we create programs for kids to participate in after-school sports programs. Those are societal things that politicians can get behind don't you think that will make it easier for individuals to be healthy?
All of the money that you're advocating for and you're criticizing RFK Jr. for cutting in the budget, none of that money went to those things.
When you,
if you
diabetes
told me,
prevention, how do you think we think about diabetes prevention?
well, let me ask you this. How many people have diabetes right now? Has the number gone up since that program's been in effect for the past 30 years? So the question is, when is enough enough? The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
Agreed.
It's
But
failed.
is it also
has failed.
insanity to say, since this failed, better not do anything
What an
and cut it
annoying
altogether?
He's not
motherfucker.
saying better not do
He
anything.
cut it in half.
Okay, but is he doing nothing?
Yes.
No,
Tell me what
no,
he's done
not
to
doing
encourage
nothing.
people to exercise.
Okay, what about the law in Texas that he passed with, I forget exactly what it was, but he's going around, he's essentially using what would be considered his bully pulpit, and he's trying to inspire people and make cultural changes. And ultimately,
But
that's
he can
going
be
to
an
more
inspirational
powerful.
figure and not be the head of Health and Human Services.
So it's really simple. Where has legislation gotten us? We take all of our time, all of our energy, and all of our budget, and we put it into legislation.
agree, it's been ineffective.
And here's the deal. Whether you want to admit it or not, when you have something like pharmaceutical companies funding 70% of research,
Do you
okay?
think junk food is healthy?
No,
Do you think burgers and fries are healthy?
not at all.
Why in the first month that Secretary Kennedy was put into office, he's sitting at a Steak and Shake talking about how brave it is that they're frying
I
beef tallow?
do not. Well, first of all, putting fries in beef tallow actually is not unhealthy.
But it's not about whether or not it's unhealthy. Do you think sitting at a Steak and Shake, one of the leading contributors
I
to
do
our
not-
obesity
I
epidemic?
do not agree.
Was that valuable?
I do not agree with everything that he's done. I also.
What do you agree with besides the Texas individual?
I think that before he was getting into office, he was supporting regenerative agriculture. I think that regenerative agriculture has the ability to change the world. I find it comical that people drive Teslas because supposedly they're scared about global warming, and yet they eat vegetables, and they have no idea that there's 550 gigatons of carbon in the air from topsoil depletion, specifically related to vegetable row crop farming. There's only 350 gigatons related to the burning of burning of carbon fuels. We could literally stop all the carbon in the air dead in its tracks, put it back in the soil in 1 year if we switched over to regenerative agriculture. Why isn't that being talked about?
Because he cut $15 million from the PFAS farm program to track PFASs, which are potentially toxic chemicals, on farms. He's cutting these programs.
Once
The
again, though,
EPA
it
is
goes back
losing
to
their
the
research
consumer.
and
It
development.
goes back to the consumer.
But how can the
If
consumer know about the
makes
farm?
different choices. What do you mean? How can the consumer? Like I said, I was in a halfway house. Okay, I had everything against me, and I still found a way because I believed
But what if
in
that
it.
Whole Foods
Even
that you
though
went
the
to
entire
had
system
toxic
was
foods
stacked
in it?
against me.
But what if
But it didn't.
Pause. I'm sorry, even
Dr.
Sure, I
Mike?
appreciate
That was
you.
a pleasure.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Yep. Hello, hello. Pleasure.
How
to
are
meet
you?
as well? I'm excited to be here because, you know, a lot of times when people do these debates, folks want to win, and genuinely, I want to learn from you guys and learn what we're doing wrong in healthcare that's impacting you. So I'm all ears.
I completely agree. It's
Cool.
not about winning, it's about getting to the truth. And I think we all can agree that we all want the truth. And that's why, that's one of the reasons why I support RFK, is because he supports transparency,
Okay.
and especially with like vaccines and healthcare and everything like that. Another thing about RFK is that he's working to get fluoride out of the water. Why do we have fluoride in the water in the first place? Is it for dental care? I think that's an individual thing. If you want strong teeth, you should probably just brush your teeth and floss. You know what I mean? You shouldn't rely on a government regulated system of our water system to give you good dental care. Like, I feel like there's ulterior motives.
Are
you
you
know what I mean?
against government programs that try and help groups of people as opposed to just individuals?
Not necessarily. It just depends on what it is.
Well, because when we say in America that the chronic health diseases in children is going up, it is. And I think I agree with everyone here on that. Statistics don't lie. But one of those chronic issues is dental disease. So if
You know
we
what I
can
think
do
can
something.
be improved by that? I think parents should stop giving their children so much sugar. Or maybe we should look at the food industry and ask why there's so much sugar in absolutely everything.
Can you walk and chew gum at the same time?
Are you gonna bring up correlation?
No.
Yeah, you can walk and chew gum at the
So
same
you
time.
can do both things. Like, why can't we encourage patients and parents to not overfeed their kids
We can.
added sugars
We can.
and make government programs that improve children's health?
But there's no point, like, why would I want water with an extra ingredient if I could just have pure water? You know what I mean? Why would I need a government organization
can
to
buy
put
water
a
without
chemical?
fluoride
But
in
why
it.
should I have to buy it? I think water, obviously, nothing's free, but like water without chemicals should be free to get. If I want to drink out of my faucet, I should be able to do that without having fluoride in it, without having to worry about fluoridosis or any other over fluoridation, in my body. Why would I not be
And you're against
privy to that?
buying a filter to get rid of
I'm not
that,
against
right?
that, but why should I have to go out and buy that?
Well, because
You know what I mean?
everything in healthcare or public health always has a trade-off. Like, if I'm giving anyone any medication, any therapy, there's always risks and benefits. So when we think about the benefit of putting fluoride in water in order to get kids to have healthier teeth, we think about the impact on the general population. And in fact, you're right, there's been some research that shows people who have high levels of fluoride, especially children, actually this doesn't apply to adults at all, but only for children, they can have neurologic issues.
Exactly.
However, it's very important to look at the numbers and the areas that were studied, because certain areas, like in Asia, they have naturally very high levels of fluoride, not added by the government, natural occurring fluoride. And those numbers are quite high. So it really depends on what that number is and what that safe number is.
The thing about Asia is if that's naturally in the water, then people from Asia are naturally adapted to that, which means it wouldn't
So if you
affect
moved
them.
to Asia, you would have neurologic issues?
If you said it didn't apply to adults, then maybe not. Because
I mean, as a child.
As a child, probably. If you're not from that area, your body's not adapted to that. Which means if there's studies shown that people who have high levels of fluoride in their body have neurological issues, then yeah, I'm sure that they would.
Well,
but also, on another note, hold on one second. On another note, why? Because if there's fluoride in the water and fluoride in the toothpaste and chemicals in our food, there comes a point where these things start stacking up. And I would much rather have kids with cavities than kids with neurological issues. You know what I mean?
That's a false choice.
It's-
You're not choosing kids with neurologic disease or cavities. That's not really the two choices you're making when you're making that
So
decision.
then what's the choice?
So I guess my question to you is, when you say chemicals, like oxygen's a chemical, water's a chemical. So how do I am trying to really get down to the core of your argument to better understand you. I'm not
Okay.
trying to get you in
Yeah,
a
yeah,
gotcha,
yeah,
I promise.
yeah.
So like, how do you decide what a chemical is? Is dihydrogen monoxide a chemical in your book?
Can you give me the short version?
Dihydrogen monoxide.
Is that oxygen?
No, that's water.
Water. Oh, water.
But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you could
I'm
make
not a
anything.
chemist or anything.
But I'm not trying to trick you.
No,
The
that's
point
a
is to
compound.
show
That's
you
a compound.
what's a chemical.
There's a thing, but there's a difference between endogenous chemicals, things that I can make, my body makes, right?
Right.
And exogenous chemicals that
But does
come
your
from
body make
external-
water?
Does my body make fluoride?
But does your body make water?
Oh.
You need water to live.
I need water to live. Okay, but my body is 72% water, which means that I am fully made of water. Like I was
Like,
born.
we need
I
essential
was born
amino
with
acids.
Water.
They're
I was
called-
born with water.
you-
You know what I mean? I wasn't born with fluoride. in
Yeah,
my
but the
system.
water came from your parent,
My what? Yeah,
from
my
your
parent,
parent,
of course. But
who
I didn't
got
get
water
any,
from the environment.
That's fine, but like,
So there's
where
certain
did the
things
first
we need.
single-celled amoeba get the water from? You know what I mean? Like any living being has water, right? But
But
not
we
everything.
need the water to survive. We need
That's
food
fine.
to
We're
survive.
not here to debate about water. So what's your point?
My point is, how do you decide what's a bad chemical versus a good chemical?
The effects on the body.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Hey, before we go any further, we want to take a moment to say thanks so much to Straight Arrow News for powering the fact checks in this video. Straight Arrow News is on a mission to raise the bar on journalism in a time of media bias and mistrust. Straight Arrow News helps you quickly find trusted information you need to understand the news, allowing you to dive deep into the topics that matter to you and the world around you. Their work is trying to break the bias bubble, helping you understand how every side of the political spectrum is reporting on a story so you get a full picture of the news. That's why we're so happy to be partnering with Straight Arrow News. They deliver the facts, unbiased, balanced, and designed to make sense of a complex world, getting you the clarity you deserve and news you can trust. Go to san.com/surrounded or click the link in the description to check it out. By clicking that link, you're not just supporting this channel. You also take advantage of a better way to get the news. Welcome back to Trustworthy Journalism. Thanks again to Straight Arrow News for partnering with us on this episode. Now, let's get into it.
My next surrounded claim is that the MAHA movement is sabotaging the doctor-patient relationship.
Hi, doctor.
Hello, pleasure.
Okay, so repeat your claim for me.
My claim is that the MAHA movement is sabotaging the doctor-patient relationship.
Okay, so for me, I'm going to take this back to COVID, and I don't want to stay on this topic. I had the Delta variant, and I went to the doctors and I told them I'm sick, got tested positive, and
Damn.
my doctor told me go home until you cannot breathe. At the same time, we didn't have any of the
Period, right?
Yeah, we didn't have any of the monoclonal antibodies. We weren't offered any therapies where I was listening to doctors and then watching them be censored. So I think if anything damaged the doctor-patient relationship, that was it.
Okay, here we
For
go.
me, I actually had a friend run up to my house from Huntington Beach, about a 2-hour drive, brought me azithromycin, hydroxychloroquine, and ivermectin. Within 48 hours, I started to recover.
Wow, it's a lot of
So-
drugs.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that hurt the doctor-patient relationship more than anything else.
Because your doctor sent you home without treatment?
Well, that doctor and 2 telemed doctors.
I see.
All of them. No drugs, nothing to treat
Can I
what
ask
I
you
have.
something about that?
Absolutely.
I'm saying that the MAHA movement is sabotaging the doctor-patient relationship. And you're talking about how the COVID pandemic sabotaged the doctor-patient relationship.
Correct.
You know what's wild? I agree with you. I think we sabotage the doctor-patient relationship.
Great.
So can
And
we
I-
talk about how the MAHA movement's impacting
Well,
it?
I want to share with you what I'm going through right now because
Okay, here we go.
a month ago my husband collapsed and had a brain tumor.
I'm sorry. to hear
It's glioblastoma,
That's terrible.
and I don't want to cry,
No, why?
but
No. Take a breath.
yeah.
Totally acceptable to cry.
Yeah, but what I'm running into now is they want us to do standard care. Where I think as a patient, we should have the right to try. We're currently looking into Dr. Sun Xiang's trial for his bioimmunity therapy. He's getting treatment at Cedar, couldn't ask for better oncologists, but we cannot treat him with immunity therapies until he goes through chemo and radiation, which basically, if he's not doing bioimmunity, that's going to kill both his good and bad cells. So for me, this is really personal at this point. I am looking into it, and I'm seeing the people that you want funded getting in the way of my husband's treatment, where I and my husband as a patient should have a right to try.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not an expert in oncology.
Okay.
Isn't there such thing as right to try legislation that already exists?
There is, but I don't know why. Like, for instance, it's the FDA's in the way.
But the FDA is currently run by Secretary Kennedy. So is he your
and
enemy
again,
right
but
now?
see, right now,
Because then we're on
yeah,
the same team.
Well, but at the same time, we can also go back into Biden's administration where all the money was going into changing kids' genders.
All the money?
Well, a lot of it. A
How
lot
much
of that
of it?
was, well, I don't know the dollar amount. But again,
Is that important?
I think that the whole industry has failed us, and I can't
agree.
even go back into who's in power. What I do like about Kennedy, if we're gonna
please.
stick on
Yeah.
Kennedy, I like that for the first time I found out how dangerous this water bottle I'm drinking out of is. I like for the fact that they're taking these dyes out of food. I like that they just passed that where they're going to lower the drug prices, where
Oh, yeah.
we end up paying the same amount as people from all over the world. These are things I like. I don't think that I've ever seen a perfect HHS secretary, and I can agree that there's things that Kennedy probably is doing that I don't agree with, but there's definitely the thing that I like about him is he's
Shit.
opening up other options where before I feel like everything was, you must do it by this. And again, I would like to see the FDA broken. I've been trolling Dr. Soon nonstop to the point I've gotten in touch with him. But my husband's starting chemo on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
And so there,
And
I
the
just
system-
barfed all over you.
No. That's look. You're the person that every time I make a video about, I think about. Every time I'm going to the hospital to work, you're the person I'm thinking about. Every time I fact check one of Secretary Kennedy's claims, you're the person I think about. You're the person I want to get accurate information. Not information from Biden's secretary, not from President Trump's secretary. I don't care who's secretary. I want you to get the honest information so you can decide what's right for you and your husband. And currently, I don't feel like that's happening. And I'll explain why so you could decide if what you think I'm saying is bullshit or not. In 2024, when Secretary Kennedy was running for president, he was on stage and he talked about how GLP-1 medications, these Ozempics, Wegovys and such, paralyze your stomach. They do these terrible things to your body. They're poisoning our nation. In Europe, they're illegal. All of
Nice.
that is untrue or overblown. A year later, he's standing with President Trump, celebrating that Americans are having access to these medications. How can you believe what he's saying when every time he's flip-flopping about the truth to you? When in early 2000s, he's doing interviews about mercury. He says vaccines save hundreds, millions of lives. And then now he's telling you they're a big problem and causing people death. How do you decide when he's telling the truth versus when he's not, when there's constant hypocrisy coming from him as an individual?
Well, I don't think that it's 100%. I think that there's good things and there's bad things with anybody that's in power.
I agree.
And for me, I honestly am not coming here just gung-ho. I want to learn from you. I think
That's
you are
amazing.
here
I
in good
appreciate that.
faith. I don't think that you're a bad man just trying to win the argument. And trust me, I've sat in this chair where that's exactly what the person in the other seat wants to do. What I would like is to see freedom for you as a doctor.
Sure.
What I would like to see is freedom for me as a patient and to be able to pursue those avenues that are best. Again, as far as Ozempic, you know what? If you eat too much ice cream, I say cut down on the ice cream. I'm not 100% behind that
Nice.
whole Ozempic thing because I think it's vain. I think that
What about
there's-
for people who have diabetes?
well, I think that there's better ways for them to lose weight. My ex-son-in-law has diabetes and the bad kind, and yet he drinks alcohol. You know, that's probably worse for him than anything. But I do like what Kennedy's doing as far as not
The
censoring
dyes you mentioned.
the
right?
dyes and the plastics in our food, getting the pesticides out of
Yeah,
our
so
food,
let's
thing
talk
like
about
that.
the dyes, because I think that's an interesting point. You know, a lot of people talk about red dye number 40.
Right.
That there was some research showing that kids who
Oh,
over-consuming it have higher rates of hyperactivity
Mm-hmm.
and potentially tying it to ADHD for that. So that research is real. It
Right.
does exist. It's shorter term, but it does exist. So I actually think removing these petroleum-based dyes is not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's a plus side into Secretary Kennedy's agenda. However, the issues that you're talking about giving doctors a chance to be with their patients the way we're spending time together, is a systemic flaw. We don't get time with our patients. The difference between seeing a naturopath versus a primary care doctor is that the primary care doctor usually spends 5 to 10 minutes with you. And that's not because they don't like you or they don't care about you. It's the system sucks for them. So
Really-
can we get Secretary Kennedy to change the system?
Really quick, what I would like to see happen was you as a physician be able to reach across the aisle and work synergetically with other doctors that are specialists in other areas.
Sure.
For instance, with this oncology, the oncologist should work with the radiologist who should be working with
And they're not?
bioimmunity. Well, they're not allowed to work with the bioimmunity until he does radiation and chemo, which are going to destroy all of his good cells. So that's a problem. So I think as far as everything that's gone on, like for instance, you brought up the kids with the ADHD. When my son was in 3rd grade, I had a teacher who didn't like that he was a boy and hyperactive. She came to me in 3rd grade, put him on pills.
Yeah, that's rude. I'm sorry.
And
that
I
happened.
said
that
no.
shouldn't happen.
And I said no. But how many kids?
And I'm not saying that shouldn't happen because no children should be on the medication.
Yeah, but
It's just
they're putting
it's too early.
everybody
Yeah, it's
on
too.
it.
I will. This is another point I will succumb.
Right.
We are sometimes too quick to start medications.
Right.
And I think the reason for this needs to be evaluated.
Right.
Part of it, we have less time with our patients, so therefore we have to just do what we can. Second, we also have patients that are very consumer driven. Give me a pill to fix it as opposed to making me do the work to fix it. I don't want to patient blame, but this is the reality of what happens. So how do we fix all of these big problems without creating disconnects by cutting research budget? Like if Secretary Kennedy
Well, I want to
came,
know where that money went because a
It
lot
didn't
of
go
it-
anywhere.
Well, a
It
lot
just
of
got
this
cut.
money though was going to insurance companies.
the
a
research
lot-
dollars doesn't go to insurance.
Well, I would, seeing what happens in local politics, I see a lot of money laundering going on. I hate to say it. Pleasure,
Thank you so
sir.
much. I appreciate you.
I
know
really
you're going through a
appreciate
lot.
you. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So talk to me, how do you feel about the sabotaging of the doctor-patient relationship by the Maha movement?
I don't agree with it. I don't think that Maha is sabotaging their relationship. As a matter of fact, I think it's cultivating confidence in patients to be able to speak to their doctors because it's providing education in a way that has never been there before. And I know you were talking about research, and so you're a busy doctor. Do you have time to do research?
When you say do research, do you mean actually do clinical trials myself?
Follow all of the data.
Sure.
You do. So
Yeah.
you, in addition to a week-long log of patients, you make time to read all
Damn.
of the material and all of the data about different
You want me to be
topics.
honest?
Yes.
Sometimes I do it in the room with the patient.
Okay,
Because I'm
great.
family medicine, so like a lot of different
Awesome.
conditions come. So absolutely
Well,
important.
you're very rare.
Well, I appreciate that, but let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So we can get off to perhaps a better talking point. Secretary Kennedy,
Yes.
in the last few months, went on a podcast and basically defamed all doctors in the United States by saying doctors are just interested in profit and keeping patients sick. Hearing that line, as a patient yourself, do you feel that your doctor is in your best interest, is working in your best interest? And do you have more trust in your doctor after hearing that line?
So I have enormous respect for Bobby Kennedy. I feel like he's educated and informed and does the research on the data and has worked on cases that he's become familiarized with medical data. So I believe that when he speaks, he comes from a place of informed
So you
knowledge.
agree that
So
doctors
I'm
are-
gonna answer that as well. So when I go to my doctor, typically my doctor, I don't have,
I
thank
just said
goodness,
thank
I don't
you.
have a lot of health issues, but when I have, my doctor wants to move me to medication, which always makes me think that in med school, that doctors are trained to find a medicalized solution rather than an alternative solution that empowers my own immune system and my own body. And so when I go in to talk to my doctor will look at me and be like, okay, you don't want any of that. And I'd be like, no, I want to have a different conversation. And MAHA provides that because it's talking about removing dyes. And I'm also a parent. So for me, there's things that involve children that I so appreciate MAHA presenting, because before there wasn't a choice. Doctors thought of parents and patients as kind of dumb.
I agree that 20, 30 years ago, that was absolutely the education.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it still can exist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because doctors are older, so that's true. I'd love for you if you can answer that question. Like by hearing Secretary Kennedy say that doctors are just interested in keeping you sick, does that improve your relationship with your doctor or not?
I would have to hear the context.
That's the context.
But I mean like the whole thing. Because one thing that I've experienced a lot with Bobby is that people get sound bites and they don't hear the entire interview and the entire dialogue, and then they piecemeal it and then they go, that man.
Yeah,
And-
people do that with things.
Right,
What's
so-
a way that he could have been saying that in a genuine way?
Well, he, in a genuine way, I think he was, I can't speak for him.
Sure.
But my experience of Bobby is that he is a genuine, compassionate, kind, caring human. And he takes his work very seriously, and his commitment to ending chronic health disease and making sure children are healthy and adults are healthy is very, very important to him. So, but if I heard that, I probably would have been like, I want to understand more about where he's coming from, because it doesn't line up for me that he would just generalize that all doctors are doing that. But in context, he might have been referring to something.
So if one of the participants here that are surrounding us came up to me after the show and said that you're a liar and everything you say is untrue, that perhaps could be said in a nice way?
Oh, well, I would probably think that maybe there's something going
Or
on
called
for
you
that
a bad mother?
person. I've been
Wouldn't
called
that
a
hurt?
lot of things.
But wouldn't that hurt?
It would make me think for a moment, like, do you know me? Do you know what I do? Do you know how I am? Do you know my professionalism?
That's how I feel as a doctor when Secretary Kennedy says that to me. He says we're interested in people keeping people sick for profit. I don't even take a salary to work as a doctor anymore. The YouTube stuff is so successful. I really am showing up for my patients pro bono because I want to help people. I'm here pro bono.
Right.
I flew here myself for free because I want to give you the best information. And you said Secretary Kennedy is well researched.
Yes.
He goes on the podiums and he says inaccuracies all the time. And look, everyone's allowed to make mistakes. I'm not about gotchas. I'm not that guy.
Right.
But when you say back in the day, kids who had diabetes almost never existed, and now 1 in 3 kids have diabetes. It's a lie. 1 in 300 kids have diabetes. So, like, how much do I as a YouTuber, have to fact check Secretary Kennedy, the Director of Health and Human Services, before he comes out and says, I messed up. I need to tell you the truth, and I'm getting the numbers wrong so often. When does that happen?
That's a really good point. I don't know. I guess we'd have to go back also to during COVID when they made these really outrageous statements that weren't true. Either go back because there have been mistakes, and if you brought
I
that
have
to
multiple
him,
videos
Yeah.
on my YouTube channel, including podcasts, where we talk about every mistake we made, I
Right.
made during the pandemic. Because ultimately, it's about trying to figure out how to do better, not to score political points. Thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Pleasure. Jack?
So, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just wanna make sure I get it.
So I think to start this off, there's actually some truth to what he said. So yeah,
So
as of
cool.
right,
So I said
what
it.
Kennedy said. So the truth is that after the year 2000, doctors say that 1 in 3 children will actually develop diabetes in their lifetime. So there's actually so often a lot more truth to what Kennedy says than what you give him. And I know that
So
you're
he
not
just
trying-
said it inaccurately? You mean like, because he said, this is a quote unquote, that currently 1 in 3 children have diabetes.
I mean, it could have been that maybe the wording was wrong, but the truth is that if you were born after the year 2000, 1 in 3 people are going to develop diabetes
As a
in their
prediction.
lifetime. Yes, and so I think so often what we can do with Kennedy is we can still paint him in bad faith, even if that's not our intention. And I think one of the things that you said actually was that Kennedy said that half of the people in China have diabetes, right? And I remember in this video you said no, it's actually 13% of people. Like total fact check. Well, the truth is that while 13% of people in China do have diabetes, the truth is that making up the rest of that 50% margin are actually people that right now already have pre-diabetes. And from 2005 to 2023, there has been a 50% increase in the number of people with diabetes in the country of China.
So what you're saying is he gets it wrong, but the intention is good?
Well, I mean, when you
Or
are
sort of right?
Sorry, when you're in the public eye for years and years and years and years, there's a good shot that you're going to misword something he says.
Sure.
I
Did he
support
come
Trump.
out and correct himself when he did that?
Well, in many cases, he has come out and correct himself. I mean, the truth is.
What cases are those?
Okay, so specifically the case in Tylenol. I mean, he came back and he said there is not enough scientific evidence to say that Tylenol causes autism.
So doesn't that concern you
No.
as a person who lives in the United States that there's a press conference,
Yeah.
there's the president, Health and Human Services Secretary, the director of CMS, Dr. Oz, and they're telling you, even Dr. Makari, who runs the FDA,
Right.
goes on the weeknight shows on Fox and says there's a causal relationship between Tylenol and autism. This is quote unquote, I'm not twisting
Let's
words.
go.
This is what was said. And then 2 weeks later they go, nah, never mind. Doesn't that upset you in the same way that we flip-flopped back in COVID days? I'm curious why it changes.
So here's the thing you have to understand, and I know you know this, and the truth is that science is a constant practice, it's a constant thing, and so medicine specifically is also constant in itself. The thing is, if something is a fact, then it will be able to be refuted, then it will stand no matter what. Whenever you come
unless
to
you learn something new, and maybe that will
which
change.
is true. But if we have scientific facts established and they are in fact true, then they will simply stand. And that's the thing. The thing that I appreciate about Kennedy is he understands that science at the highest levels is a constant debate. And so when you see a study come out that contradicts the status quo, to say that and to say, okay, Americans, we have found that, whatever, could do whatever, contrary to what's believed, specifically in the Tylenol situation, it's good that he presented that we found this, and then he actually retracted that 2 weeks later, I believe. So I think that it's very, very important to say, if we do find something and there's scientific evidence for something that does go against the grain, to come out there and say that you had that evidence.
Yeah, so this is pretty interesting what you're pointing out. I would say a year before this press conference, I had a video lined up to talk about the relationship between Tylenol and autism in those who are pregnant. So like I literally was making a video on that subject.
Okay.
And just because of production delays and such, we didn't get a chance to put it out. So in the medical community, we were already understanding that there is a potential tie there, an association. We knew that there wasn't a causal link to prove that definitely.
Right, because it's
takes
not
out
even
autism.
widely agreed as of today what causes autism.
Exactly.
Right, but then again, I think that we should constantly be looking into these things a little bit
Well,
deeper
we
than
are.
we do. Well, there's a problem here because 70%
Like
of
the research he's quoting wasn't done the week he presented it. Do you know why it was presented this September when he presented it?
So the research wasn't done in September of 2025.
Yeah,
and he
it was
presented-
done. It was done a long period before that. There was multiple research done because you said we need to look
So
into
you
it.
said that there's multiple there's
Research
multiple, you said there's
articles.
multiple of them.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think the reason he probably shared it is because there were multiple of them. Then it's like it actually posed a red flag in the situation.
No, do you want me to be honest and tell you why he shared it? Because at the beginning of his time and his tenure, he promised that by September we'd find the cause of autism. And because he did not find it, because we've been looking for it, we want to help people. I want to find the cause of autism. I'm
Okay.
being
People
honest
are
with
losing their minds over this. You know what the funny thing is? The top comment is about me. The top post is about me. So, yeah, and then let me see here. Oh, there's another one here. Even whenever it's somebody else's event and everybody else is being discussed, somehow it's still about the same 4 people. The same 4 people and how they reacted to the event with everybody else, right? And so, you see the recap was done by Hassan's editors. He explains yours and XQC's absence. Really? I thought it was the fact that I just farmed hate on the event. Like, everybody was, like, getting mad in, like, my defense. They were like, why isn't Asmon on here? Ah, jeez, guys. Like, I really wonder. How about, let's go back. Let's see. Let's look at why. It's all crashing down. This is a 2 million view video. And this is a full-length video, too, of Cutie Cinderella crying. And so, big surprise, I didn't get on the show. Wow. What a shock. I can't believe it. Yeah. And so anyway, got the Legacy Stream Award. I'm never getting an award. I'm never getting invited. It's never happening. And again, guys, you should be saying thank you because now I get to say exactly what I think. I'm not trying to play politics with it. I'm not trying to be nice. To be fair, I was a little, I did try to be a little nice, right? But not that much. So obviously this is, I think, the biggest controversy of what happened, right? Is that, so this 100% was the most dramatic thing that happened.
This year, as everyone knows, you broke the record for the most expensive haircut and the least educational university. So congratulations to you. Oh, and also,
Hell yeah, dude.
congrats on your new documentary with 50 Cent. That was you, right?
Yeah. Oh.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah.
If you all gonna be on the mic now, turn this shit on. Turn this shit on.
So he got mad.
If you all gonna be on the mic making jokes, at least let it be funny.
Oh. Oh.
If you all gonna be on the mic making jokes, at least let it be funny.
Oh.
Have a good night.
Uh-huh.
Here. Do you want to do a joke?
No.
I thought he was going to say you, honestly.
I only said that because we got a haircut.
Anyway.
Oh, I don't have I don't have my phone on.
So
Shit.
this happened. Here's the problem, okay? Is that Twitch is 2 communities. The fact is that anybody would have known this, right? Anybody would have known, like, and let's be honest, like, this is the situation. I'm gonna give you my opinion on who's right and who's wrong. I think I don't really give a fuck. I'm actually gonna fence sit this one. Sorry. Like, I feel like if you want to banter with somebody, that's fine. But if you, like, I think Kai is sensitive to this. Like, I think that he's too sensitive to these kinds of jokes. But I do feel like the Diddy joke, I mean, you make a joke that somebody looks like Diddy, right? I mean, this is a fucking rapist. He's a fucking rapist. So
Jeez.
it's not going to sound that good, right? Kai's sensitive? Well, yeah, he doesn't like these jokes, right? And so, like, I think he's too sensitive, but that's his right to be, that's his right to feel that way, right? He just doesn't like that shit. It's the same as, like, for me, like, for example, like, I don't like a lot of Twitch memes, and I don't like people talking to me in a weird way either, honestly. But it depends on the way it is, right? And so, at the end of the day, if you're putting on an event, you don't really want to go and make the people that come to your event uncomfortable. You don't. You don't want to make them uncomfortable. And, like, if you knew anything about Kai, you would know that he's not about these jokes. You would know that he doesn't like this kind of stuff. And so you shouldn't go and say something like that to him, because it's going to make him uncomfortable and it's going to be weird. And so, really, but at the same time, I do think that, you know, Ty Lil coming in there, responding, and trying to get in his 2 cents is being an asshole for sure. So it's one of the things where, like, I think the banter is fine, but if other people don't, then it's their right to draw the line there. I think it totally is. You came to the event.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to show up to the event, promote the event, bring your fans, and talk about it and everything like that, and then you're going to get made fun of and called that you're Diddy and say that Streamer University was non-educational. It's just like, again, there's some people that just don't like that. They don't like being talked to like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Jokes are a risk. Yeah, exactly. Don't respond for me. It puts Kai in a weird spot. Yeah, I mean, maybe, right? And so is that really the way I mean, like, y'all know what I'm saying about this? Any joke is okay as long as it's funny. It was a shit joke. I mean, I just, like, honestly, like, I guess, right? I mean, I guess a lot of people made jokes about, like, fucking, you know, Kai looking like Diddy. And, like, the thing is that what I think is so funny. Oh, God, I'm going to make this a race thing. I'm going to do it. So, all the time, people compare, like, me and Charlie all the fucking time. They say, oh, I thought this was the same guy. Now, in my opinion, I think they're fucking insane. Charlie is a much better looking guy than I am. He's got black hair, I've got brown hair. He's got a way better hairline too. But for some fucking reason, people think we're the same person. It's ridiculous. And so, I feel like maybe it's like and most of the time people say that are not white, right? And so it might be one of those fucking things. And it is kind of like maybe a racial thing. And it could be seen as patronizing or rude to people who are black. I don't fucking know. But at the end of the day, I know that if you go and you compare somebody, you go, yeah, exactly. And I know this might not seem, yeah, it is racially, I know. And you know, maybe people might not want to hear that, but I think that's the truth, is that it's a Mandela effect, exactly. And so at the end of the day, you have this situation happen and you make a person uncomfortable who flew out or came out to your event. I think that really you made a mistake. You did. You made a mistake by making a person uncomfortable at your event. And I think they shouldn't have told it. They should have known this about Kai. They shouldn't. I knew this about Kai. And so, like, how are you going to give this guy 4 awards and then not even know, like, you know, what kind of person he is, right? Is that weird? Is that weird? Like, that's honestly the way I feel about it. So, yeah.
Shit.
And you're not going to go back. He's probably going to go back. It'll be all right. And but the thing is that that's classic fan. She's a degen. Oh yeah, I think she's great. I thought the jokes were really funny. I mean, that one I could see. I could easily see why somebody wouldn't like that, right? I mean, for sure, it's easy to understand that. But like at the same time, you know, I think she's funny for sure. And like, I don't think she's really a bad. Like, I don't think she's doing it out of bad taste. She's not a bad person, right? She's not trying to make Kai look bad. She just tells jokes, and it's a different community, right? And so I think that's really the problem: is you bring half of the community that loves to make Diddy jokes. They love to make sex jokes. They love this depreciation banter stuff. And then you have the other half of the community that fucking hates it. And so you put all these people in one room, and you're going to have a culture clash. You are. You're going to have it. It's going to happen. And so this is, and you see this on Twitter all the time. Like, it was Pose Mad the movie last night. The extended edition. Because it went into the morning. I see so many people complaining and getting mad about this. It's insane. Yes, and projecting much? I'm not, me, am I projecting? I don't think I'm projecting at all. So yeah, and what about the Ellen DeGeneres? That guy was pissed. Well, I mean, I thought Ellen DeGeneres was dating Cutie, right? So it's okay. But like, you know, you could, like, Ludwig, I think, is more okay with jokes like that. Because he's part of a different community. He's not the same way. But like, again, if you're going to bring somebody to an event, you should probably make sure that you understand what the comfort level on things are, right? It's not really that crazy, is it? I think it's super normal. So which community is mad? So the main people that are mad are Cuties fans. Oh, and whenever I say fans, I don't really mean fans. I mean people who are just professional retards that love to cry about shit. And so anyway, and this stupid bitch, bro, like, every day there's a new stupid bitch. How does this keep happening? And so, anyway, I'll pull all the rest of this here. FaZe and Hassan getting trolled all night, but the line was drawn at a Diddy joke. See, this right here, like, I get where you're coming from at the same time, but, like, damn, bro, do you really think that there's no difference between being compared to, like, a meme or FaZe versus, like, being compared to a fucking serial rapist, molester, Harvey Weinstein, fucking freak that had 1,000 bottles of baby oil when his house got raided? Like, really, you get compared to somebody like that, like, that's a whole lot. And soft-ass generation, and the thing is that, again, I don't think that there's a problem with jokes like that either. But I would never, like, and here's a good way to look
Oh
at it, right?
my God.
This is just like, by the way, this is called being normal.
You
I'm going to show y'all. And by the way,
Realize
if y'all
his
are
name is
needing advice from
fucking
Asmongold
name, dude.
on how to be normal, you got to check yourself into a fucking asylum, all right?
Facts.
But here's the facts. If you go, like let's say I have like other friends that are parts of families, and like, you know, they have a kid in their family that maybe has Down syndrome or autism, and they don't like the word retard because it personally offends them. You know what I do? I don't use that word around them because I respect their feelings and I try not to do that. Now, that doesn't mean I never use the word, but whenever I'm around them in their presence, I would not do that because it's unpleasant and it's rude to them. So that's it. And so, like, really, and even though I totally disagree with it, like, I mean, I don't think that, like, you know, somebody, it's the context. It's the context, right? And so, of course, you would do that. It's the way any, yeah, do it more, desensitize them. Well, I mean, no, why would I do, like, it's not my job to fucking culturally fucking make people believe something. Like, that's weird. I don't think that anybody in the world has to think what I think, right? And so, yeah, it's called having manners. Exactly. What about a person's pronouns? Yeah, I'll use a person's pronouns. Sure. I mean, why not? Like, why would I, like, this is the way that I go about every interaction with another person. I want to have the most smooth, pleasant, non-problematic interaction with another person that I possibly can. Period. It doesn't matter, and I also want that person to effectively do what I want, whether that is to continue being my friend, to give me my nuggets at the Wendy's drive-thru, or to drive me somewhere across town if it's an Uber driver. So everything that I do is in service of a goal. I don't do things because I feel a way. I do things because I want something to happen. And so that's the way I do things. That's it. No empathy? Well, I mean, like, I do have empathy in a way, but like I don't want to use this word because it sounds like it's very fucking, pretentious, right? But it's like an intellectual empathy, right? Where like I can understand how and why they would feel this way, even though I wouldn't necessarily agree with it, if that makes sense, right? And that's the way that I feel about it more than anything else. Strategic? Yeah, exactly. It's strategic empathy, and I try to be a reasonable person as much as I can be, right? But for some reason, a lot of people don't really see it that way. And you can place yourself in their shoes and understand it. Yeah, well, it's not even about understanding it. It's about having a level of just understanding and politeness of just not making another person uncomfortable or unhappy. So yeah, isn't it emotional intelligence? I mean, you can call that mental empathy. Sounds less pretentious. Yeah, mental empathy. Yeah, sure. But like intellectual, mental, whatever it is. My point is that, like, I don't go around trying to make people mad. Like, I don't, because it doesn't serve my interests, right? I do on the internet because it does serve my interests because then I can use them for content. But like, it doesn't serve my interests in real life because I want them to give me my food. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, you only give so many fucks a day? Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not trying to, like, yeah, I don't want to have like an unnecessary friction. Yeah, absolutely not. So anyway, you know, you can't invite somebody to an award show, compare him to Diddy, and then be like, oh wow, why didn't you like the joke? But yeah, of course they overreacted. Tyler's a dick, you know, like that's it too. Sure. But like at the end of the day, it's just two very different communities, right? It is. It's two very, very different communities, and it's just that simple. So yeah, it's called enlightened self-interest. You call it whatever you want, but I'm just trying to say that's the way it is. So yeah. Anyway, so you had even more people about this.
Oh, yeah.
This has been a whole lot. And this is it. I'll go back and I'll look at the rest of these over here too. But first I'll do this here. Also, I saw this was funny. So remember when Pokimane bought herself a ring? Drake made himself an infinity gauntlet. Look at this. Drake bought a custom diamond necklace he calls Previous Engagement. It's made of 42 engagement rings. Pokimane is only on number 1. She's only on number 1. And he got the whole gauntlet right there together. God damn.
And he got the whole gauntlet right there together.
It looks cool. I'm gonna be honest, it does look cool, but damn, how you gonna wear something
Yo, if you
like
love Artie at home, you love legendary Safers. On the count of 3, I need to hit it loud as your 1, 2, 3.
You, my guy.
I'll pull it up.
I already go through, man.
Yeah. Is anyone else gonna get on this mic, or if we pass it around?
Cypher, I don't care.
What is happening? We're the warm-up for the real deal. If anyone wants to come, you're all welcome. All right, I gotta lock in.
Twice the bounty.
You can tell whatever you want.
Our ally has slain an enemy.
Got some nice freestyle flows at the dome. Let's get it right.
Oh shit, they just jumped on me.
It's all good. I was a 90s head. Take all my time, waste all my mind, waste all my shine. You're magnifying. Damn, we getting loose in this bitch. Young fire run the juice in this bitch. Get all of your gas, chase a deuce in this bitch. How about this shit? Take a deuce on this bitch. Listen, I just do it like Nike Town. Roll around with my posse. I don't wanna fight me now. Yeah, you know I got a rap dog. And that's doom, but I'ma take the mask off. Listen, I dump the donuts, tippity zoo. Hey, I'm involved, stacks and Scooby-Doo. I'm a snack too, but the factory. If you want the chocolate, don't ask for me because I'm Nilla as the flavor, Nilla as the dipping that I'm putting in my wafer. If you wanna do it, maybe we can solve a caper. Solve some mysteries, my Scooby snacks suck the vapor. Dead in the middle of Little Italy. Little did he know that he riddled a middleman who didn't do diddly. Shot the big pun. Y'all about to go and get it. Everybody out here can spit, son.
Over here in Little Italy, shout to Skibbity. Ain't nobody on that little microphone, go get with me. I know that anytime I'm up on here, I'm making history. And shout out to the people on the internet that's listening.
It's fire out here, we go boil it. Shout to Skibbity, these rappers should be flushed in the toilet. If you don't know what it is, then you're down with it. Fun guy out here, we're already clowning.
Nice.
To the toilet, yeah, you had a punchline. I had to spoil it. Hat you tin foil it. No, I know that I'm loud and annoying it.
Baby, what's gonna say? Everybody doesn't know one knows how to play. So, you kicking the ball, kicking it off, come on, you'll never fall.
Nice. They're just gonna get tankier. Okay. Hell yeah, straight tank. Oh, what the hell is it doing?
How you been, man? Say what's up to them real quick. Hey, you got different shirts.
Oh
Hey, I
shit.
appreciate you, bro. We'll see you around. I do. It's later though, right? If we got battery, if I'm not keeled over, could be good. I could be good.
Got him, nice.
Thank you.
Rap to the beat, coming out the street. Those so dope, man, they cannot compete. I drop the heat, even in the summer. When it comes to
myself. Focused on cash, I was focused on wealth. Matter of fact, man, you know who I be. So fly, man, I'm kamikaze. Now I'm rapping right next to Ari. I want the peace, but I'm not Gandhi. New York City, homie, that's where you find me. E.D. Matrix on IG. Feel like a Christian, I step in Dior. I'm so fresh, I could break through the floor. No, I ran, I'm about to start a war. Me, man, I'm just kicking in the doors. Wait, we can just walk and run. Matter of fact, street rappers like my son. With this rap stuff, I ain't never been done. Do it for the kids that's living in the slums. EDM, man, piano and the drums. You know me, man, I've been in the slum. When it comes to rap, I'll leave it in the dump. I don't need a president, I don't need no Trump. Yeah, I don't need even no Biden. Came a long way straight up out of Coney Island. Manhattan, rapping in a different environment. Yeah, cause you know I'm just vibing. Feel like I'm Tom Brady. When it comes to rap, man, you know I go crazy. Matter of fact, everybody say I'm so wavy. Now I put in work, I ain't never been lazy. Been a creature, smoking on blunts like I was Khalifa. Yeah, cause I just puff, no Diddy. Matter of fact, realest rapper up in this city. Everybody in the crowd really fucking with me. Put my city down just like a wrestler. And I can teach motherfuckers like a lecture. I'm like Hannibal Lecter. Matter of fact, I'm sick kinda like Vector from a B. Why these rappers think they can fuck with me? Niggas in the hood wanna humble me. I love the girls with the double D's and all bodies and shapes. Niggas is fake, but I'm so real. So hot, nigga, but you know that I'm chill.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now I'm getting them deals. Came up in New York, all my brothers selling pills. Yeah, I'm just so nice. Fuck the president and nigga, fuck ICE. I be getting money, nigga, I don't got a price. My flow comes off the head just like lights. Driving in a Lambo. I'ma shoot him down, feeling like I'm Rambo. Different colors, I be chilling the camo. Everybody knows I don't give a damn though. Yeah, give me applause, give me a clap, give me everything when I really go rap. Fingers broken, but I really go snap. Everybody knows that I always been that. Let's go. Yeah, there's a cipher right over there. Let's go there.
What's up, guys? Are we making some beats? Will you guys rap a little if I make some beats? You want to do that?
Yeah, man. Get crazy with it.
You do it. I'll move it. Can you do the yeah, yeah.
Oh, whoa. You already know that I do it. I'm still pimping. Snakeskin boots on and they still hissing. Oh my goodness, how do I do it? I'm on a mission. They don't want to talk. They don't want to listen. This is so ridiculous. When I'm in this, they just want to do one thing, and that is witness. And if you ain't with this, homie, you against us. Crazy how I do it, cause I roll up with them gangsters. Take it, cause I really need this turn again. I already know it's a rap for you like a tourniquet. Boy, I'm about to get 5,000 out of the tournament. They don't understand, cause these rappers ain't never heard it. I don't have to really explain it. You know that my brain is just going crazy. They are the rappers, they know that they hate it, so I'm gonna keep on telling them. Crazy how I do it, they ain't getting me. Boy, have they mind blown, they looking like a Kennedy. I don't even know if these other rappers respecting me, but I know it's gonna be a prodigy. Yes, I get them shade, I'm respecting how I'm doing it. They don't understand how I've been moving it. I'm ludicrous, crazy how I do it. I'm outside on a different planet, and I'm blowing up the whole world. You think it's Namek?
Let's go.
Ain't Namek, homie, I'm still freezer. Homie, I'm still cold, I just hopped up out of the freezer. Still from the place, and I still got the ether. Right here on the ground is where I'ma leave you. I don't have to do nothing too evil. You already know it's one me, there's no sequel. Is everybody feeling aight?
Goddamn.
Yeah, I'm doing it all for my guys.
Alright, I think I had enough. We're gonna call it there. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, like the video, comment something down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Hopefully we get monetized soon, and that'll be all fun and games. But until then, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys.